Hey family, welcome to Family People. I'm Raymond, and this is everything Marvel United Multiverse, the absolute all-in pledge with all the extras. Let's get unboxing. Hey family, welcome to Family People. I'm Raymond, and this is the continued unboxing of Marvel United Season 3 Multiverse. And this box, which we have, is Civil War. So of course we all saw, well I say we all, certainly I saw the movie Civil War, primarily led of course Captain America versus Iron Man, but we've got a very different array of characters in this box. Does that mean potentially we might see another Civil War coming to bear? Who knows, we will see. But in this box we have PvP. The villains sit on the sidelines as once allied heroes clash in an all-out civil war. That is what is in this box, folks. There are no villains. This is all heroes. So, following a tragic superhero operation, the Superhuman Registration Act was ratified, subjecting heroes to government oversight. Iron Man gathered a team of pro-registration heroes around him to enforce it. Meanwhile, anti-registration heroes gathered around Captain America, becoming outlaws and forming the secret Avengers. Inevitably, a violent conflict broke out between the two sides. And of course, we may yet still see this coming to the fore. As I vaguely recall, there was, of course, the scenario of a ship out in the middle of the sea with a bunch of our heroes locked away. Will we see this being revisited? We may well do. However, let's have a look at what is in this box. Lots of funky cards, maybe some equipment. There are a number of tokens and chits in here. So let's have a look and see what we have. Okay, so as you would expect, we start off with, of course, our ever trusted little pamphlet. We have a Civil War way to play, so a different way entirely. We have, of course, our components of our heroes and the miniatures themselves. And we have the Clash of Heroes setup rules, player versus player modes, as well as special players for both modes, using storylines, locations, shields, and the registration clash as well there. So another way of playing through this. Here we go. And then there are additional rules as well, so special effects adaptations, banned locations, and compatibility. So both PvP modes are not compatible with any other mode. Companion cards cannot be used in either PvP mode. There we go. So let's dig into the box. What do we have? So starting off, we have our full-on PvP. Got the registration clash and the starting locations. Okay, and the red team start off, the blue team start off with different things, and then we have a full-on clash of heroes. Okay, so again, very different modes of play. We have, as I mentioned, lots of tokens. Let's just have a quick look at these. There we go. So we've got some danger tokens here. Various no captain shields, pro registration. Here we go. For red or blue, Captain America and danger warning. We have a number of those available to us. We have, of course, some new locations. We'll dig these out. There we go. So what have we got? We have the raft. So at the end of your turn, you may discard a card or an action token to move to any other location with a henchman and deal 1 damage to them. Okay. We have Scorvia, of course. So at the end of your turn, you may discard a card to rescue 1 civilian or defeat 1 thug in this or an adjacent location. We have the bar with no name. Okay. There we go, get that out of the way. The pool table. Bar with no name. So at the end of your turn, if you are alone here, you may fill any empty slots in this location by moving thugs from adjacent locations. If you do, you may defeat 1 thug here. We have Garrett Castle. So at the end of your turn, if you have only 1 card in your hand, you may either draw 1 card or gain a heroic feat and punch tokens or attack tokens. We have the Avengers Mountain. So at the end of the turn, if you're alone here, you may gain a move token or discard 1 action token to ignore the first damage and crisis token you would take on the next villain turn. And finally, Washington, D.C. At the end of the turn, you may draw 1 card. If you do, discard 1 card. So a way of being able to rotate your cards. Of course, the Civil War icon on the back of those. And as you would expect, little trackers. Tracker tubes for the red and the blue team. Have lots of cards. Looks like we got some new equipment and some new bits and bobs as well. So I'll break open into those. Go with the main hero cards first of all. I like how they've anticipated a default Iron Man stack and Captain America stack. Of course, the lead protagonists in both schools of thought, for lack of a better phrase. An interesting moment. What would you vote for? I presume there are pros and cons to both. Would you be Team Cap or Team Iron Man? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Who would you most likely be supporting or supportive of in such a scenario? So of course we've got no villains here, so these are all entirely hero cards. So let's have a quick look at them spread out. So we have Iron Man, of course. We have Yellow Jacket. We have Wonder Man, and I've not come across Wonder Man before, so he's a new one to me. And also we have another new one to me, which is Tigra. I don't know, she originates maybe from the Spider-Verse, perhaps. Talking of which, of course, we have the Iron Spider, and then we have some Team Blue missions and a Clash of Heroes events. Okay. We have, of course, Captain America. We have a great big giant Goliath. Of course, we kind of alluded to in the films. We have Kate Bishop, and I really liked seeing Kate on the screen. I thought he did a fantastic portrayal of her. Another new one to me, Spectrum. Not come across Spectrum before. And Hulkling, who we've not seen before either. Okay. And then we get some population cards. Not entirely sure what they do. Okay, so let's start with the Iron Spider. So as you would expect, as always, we begin with the usual plethora of token cards, action cards, double wild, and then for specials we have Great Power, so double attack, and for each thug defeated with this special effect at the end of your turn, gain a heroic feat. We have, to accompany that great responsibility, double heroic feat. With each civilian rescued, you get an extra attack token. We have My Name is Peter Parker. Gain 1 wild token, discard all crisis and exposed tokens you might have. And then finally, Spider Sense. As long as this card remains faced with the storyline, once per hero turn, if a villain ends their movement in your location, you may immediately move to an adjacent location. Okay, so that is the Iron Spider. Let's have a look at his fab mini with all his limbs. There we go. Brilliant. Let's just rearrange this stack slightly so you get better visibility of him there. There we go. And I'll have a read of what his background is. This has got just the 3. Okay, so Peter Parker, designed for Spider-Man as a gift, the Iron Spider armor wearer, okay, assumes the powers inherent in it. Gadgets including mechanical spider arms and waldos that can be used to see around corners via cameras in the tips, and to manipulate objects, web shooters, and wall crawling capability. The suit responds to mental control. Parker abandoned the Iron Spider armor when he switched sides during the Civil War, from the pro side of the Superhero Registration Act led by Iron Man to the anti-registration side led by Captain America. So there we go. So that is the Iron Spider. Okay, let's have a look at Tigra next. So again, we have the plethora of, love the graphics on these, always do a fantastic job. Lots of token cards, as you would expect. And then we have specials, tracking. Move to any location with a henchman and then attack. Claws and fangs, unpreventable 2 damage in your location. Strong will until your next turn. Ignore any effect that would force you to play your next card randomly or face down. And then reflexes, ignore the first damage that you would take in the next villain turn. So that is Tigra. Let's see if we can find her miniature. Here we go. Oh, I do like that. That is beautiful. Done a great job on her. Look at all that scenery behind her. Fantastic. So Greer Grant Nelson is her name. Greer is a human mystically transformed into the hero Tigra, a human tiger hybrid. Powered by a cat's head amulet, she can transform from her human form to Tigra, and with the cat people, she helped defeat Hydra. During the Civil War, Tigra fought alongside Iron Man, showing her support for the diverse US government proposed Superhero Registration Act. As a SHIELD agent, she aided in the enforcement of the act, sometimes with nefarious methods. Tigra infiltrated Captain America's secret Avengers, who were anti-registration act, passing valuable secret information back to Iron Man. So there we go. So it's a good idea of who she is and what she brings to the party. Okay. Who else do we have? Let's go with a Wonder Man. So again, new one to me. So the usual plethora of icons. And we have Invulnerability. You cannot take any damage to the beginning of your next turn. So we have 2 of those. We have Flight for an extra move and a wild. 2 of those, and then Near Immortality. As long as this card is face up in a storyline, if you start your turn with 1 card in hand, draw 2 cards during your draw card step. Very good. So let's have a look at Wonder Man. Oops. That is the Hulkling. Where is he's got funky purple behind him there. There we go. Beautiful. So, Wonder Man, Simon Williams. Wonder Man is a chemical and ionic radiation-induced human mutant. Okay. Gifted with superhuman strength and durability. After the passage of the Superhero Registration Act, Wonder Man registered and became a SHIELD agent, hunting down and capturing unregistered superhumans. In the later Civil War, he would capture criminals and members of the opposition whilst acting as the movement's educator to the public about the specific of Superhero Registration Act. So there we go. So that's what he brings. Okay. So who do we have up next? Let's go for Yellow Jacket. Dodge that bullet. Excellent. And stand on a tower. Okay, so Pym Particles. Place 1 move token from the pool on Shrink, or 1 attack token from the pool on Grow, and if they are face up in the storyline. Okay. Got 2, 3 of those. Then we have Shrink. Which gives you a wild, and as long as this card is face up in the storyline during a villain turn, you may discard any number of tokens from this card to prevent the same amount of damage dealt to you. Okay. And then Grow, as long as this card is face up in the storyline during your turn, you may discard any number of tokens from this card to perform the same amount of attacks in your location. Okay, so interesting Pym Particles there. And I'm looking for his figure. This dude, here we go. Here we go. So he is Henry Pym. Hank Pym is an American entomologist, biochemist, roboticist, engineer, physicist, and discoverer of Pym particles, subatomic particles which increase or decrease size, mass, objects, living beings. Emboldened with these abilities, Pym would embody a number of identities, including the original Ant-Man, Giant Man, Yellow Jacket. As Yellow Jacket, his crime fighter would join the Avengers and the Defenders, ultimately siding with the pro-registration forces in the battle to overcome the Superhero Registration Act. He joined the Tony Stark and Mr. Fantastic to design Prison 42 to hold anti-Act superhero forces. Okay, so let's go with Kate Bishop. Pizza! Love it. Nice exploding arrows there, I reckon. And we have, can I have your stuff when you're dead? Heroic feat, or discard 1 action token to recharge 1 of your trick arrow equipment at the end of your turn. We have a skilled marksman, double attack, split as you like between in both adjacent locations. You drive, I shoot. This turn when moving, you may bring another hero in your location with you. You may attack in each location you enter accompanied by a hero. And finally, better branding. 2 heroic feats, and for each civilian rescue with this special effect at the end of your turn, gain 1 heroic feat token. Wow, quite different array of goodies there. Fantastic, I love that. Got the target in the background. Brilliant. That's going to be fun to paint. So, Catherine Bishop. Kate Bishop, a daughter of wealth, was once held for ransom by a man her father had beaten up, El Matador. During her captivity, she attempted an escape and was saved by the Avengers. It was Hawkeye who impressed Bishop the most, and one she would look to as a role model. She is proficient in swordplay, archery, and martial arts. A note from admirer Captain America came addressed to Hawkeye, so Bishop officially adopted the name and joined Captain America and the Secret Avengers in battle against the Superhero Registration Act. There we go. So that is Kate Bishop. Okay. So let's go with Hulkling. Impersonating. At the end of your turn, if there is no hero card next to this card, you may choose the starting hand card of any hero not in play and place it next to this card. If you are knocked out, remove that hero card from the game. It can't be chosen anymore. Okay. We have then a number of normal tokens. We have Metamorphic Adaptation. Perform actions matching the symbols at the bottom of the hero card next to your impersonating card. Aha. We've got 2, 3 of those. And then finally, the Healing Factor. As long as this card is faced with a storyline, if you have only 1 card in your hand at the end of the villain turn, you may draw 1 card. Okay. Let's have a look at Hulkling. Certainly an impressive miniature. There is. Do like that. So, Doric Vell, the child of Captain America and the Skrull Emperor's daughter. He was sent to Earth for his own safety, to live with his mother's servant as Theodore Teddy Rufus Altman. Altman was able to shapeshift from a young age and also possessed super strength. He joined the Young Avengers and adopted superhero identity as the Hulkling. During the Civil War, S.H.I.E.L.D. arrested the Young Avengers, but Falcon and Captain America intercepted S.H.I.E.L.D. bus transporting them. Teddy worked alongside Captain America in his plan for a final confrontation with Iron Man and his team, impersonating Yellow Jacket to free the heroes held in prison 42. There we go. So let's go with Spectrum. So we have tokens. And we have intangibility. You cannot take any damage until the beginning of your next turn. We have Energy Blast, double attack in an adjacent location. Got 2 of those, and then finally Energy Source. As long as this card is faced with a storyline once per turn, when another hero deals damage to an enemy in your location, they may perform 1 free attack there. Okay. So, have a look at her. There she is. Okay, so Spectrum, real name Monica Rambeau. Ah, so we have seen her. Okay, nice. Spectrum is a mutated human exposed to an energy disruptor device that gave her the ability to absorb energy. She can create holograms, become invisible, exceed the speed of light, pass through solid structures, water, and space. She was a member of the Ultimates and Strike Force, and at one time acted as a vigilante in New York City, giving rise to the mighty Avengers. She would lead them to rescue Blade, Cage, and Blue Marvel from the Deathwalkers, destroying them in the process. Spectrum would join Captain America in battle against the pro-faction of the Superhero Registration Act. So there we are. So we have indeed seen her. Fantastic. You see, and that for me, folks, that's why I appreciate the background, a bit more insight to who these people are. But these last two certainly, or these penultimate two, certainly require no introduction at all here. We have Iron Man Civil War. Okay, so specials include Team Leader. Up to 2 other heroes may immediately perform a move. Regenerative system, you may draw cards until you have 3 in your hand. Repulsors, attack in both adjacent locations. And resourceful, you may distribute 1 heroic and 1 attack token from the pool among heroes. Okay, so let's take him out. We have, of course, got some transparent plastic added to this figure. Let's have a look. Tony Stark, among those working against passage of the US government's proposed Superhero Registration Act, a registry for all superpowered individuals, but Stark's opinion of the act changed when it became to view as a means of tie the knots of friendship between humans and superhumans. He became leader of the pro-registration group and unmasked himself as Iron Man. The new act was divisive and split the superhero community to deal with the anti-registration foes. Iron Man created Prison 42 to contain rogue superheroes for as long as the Civil War lasted. There we go. There's Iron Man, and then we have Captain America Classic. Excellent. So specials include Master Shield Fighter, attack. If this is used to defeat a thug, you may attack in an adjacent location. Then if this is used to defeat a thug, you may attack in another adjacent location. We have Master Strategist. Each other hero may immediately wild. We have Hero of the People, double heroic action, and these actions may only be used to rescue civilians. And then finally, I can do this all day. As long as this card is face up in the storyline, you may gain a heroic feat or attack token when recovering from a knockout. Okay, let's have a look. I do like, look at the amount they've put into that. That is fantastic. Steve Rogers, rejected by the army because of his small size and underdeveloped physique. Steve Rogers allowed himself to be used as the Project Rebirth, an experiment to create super soldiers. Empowered with extensive combat training, superhuman strength, stamina, agility and durability, Rogers became Captain America, wearing a red, white and blue uniform, carrying a nearly indestructible shield of vibranium and steel alloy. When his teammate Iron Man approved of and helped pass the Superhero Registration Act, Captain America made his opposition known, leading a war between both sides. There we go. I do love that figure. That is brilliant. But of course, talking of figures, we have then finally the big one of the box, Goliath. There he is, transforming. So specials include Big Fist, 2 of those. Triple attack against a single target in your location, then discard 1 card from your hand to the bottom of the deck. Whoa, because you are so exhausted. We have the bigger they are. At the end of a villain turn in which you were knocked out, attach a stunned token to a villain or a henchman in your or an adjacent location and turn this card face down. Next villain turn, that villain or henchman's BAM is cancelled and the stun token is discarded. And then finally, increased size. This card doesn't count as one of your 3 starting hand cards. You start the game with a total of 4 cards in your hand. Okay. And let's have a look. And I might just have to zoom back out for this because the figure is just so big. I mean, even holding it is just so big. Goliath, real name William Barrett Foster. Bill Foster worked as a lab assistant for Dr. Hank Pym and then took over the research and development section of Stark International. Having memorized the formula to Pym particles, he experimented with trying to eliminate the formula's harmful side effects. When tested on himself, he was able to grow to large like Pym and successfully duplicate Pym's powers. With Pym's encouragement, Foster became crime fighter Goliath. During the superhero Civil War, Goliath was a member of Captain America's secret Avengers team. There he is. Fantastic. And that is it. They are all of the miniatures that we get in their wonderful glory as we've gone through. As mentioned, there are a number of other cards. I'm not entirely sure what these do. So some of these look to be specific, but let's have a quick look at, so you have them. You can have a look at those. Okay, so you get various rewards and tiebreakers. Get Project Lightning, a team that controls the most locations. Give 1 wild token from the pool, one of their heroes. Henchman on the Loose, Under the Eye, Superhuman Ban, Influencing Public Opinion, and Push Back. We have a whole bunch of Team Blue missions, but not Team Red missions, which is quite bizarre. These seem to be of a similar ilk, all about placing a danger token. So we saw those at the beginning, those extra tokens that we get in the box. And then we have a population. Maybe this is how that extra population, because of course if you're out rescuing civilians and defeating thugs and you have no villain to keep putting these out, then you need a means to be able to, of course, pick these up. And apologies, of course, they're all green cards and they wonderfully disappear on the green screen. But there it is, folks. That is almost everything you get in a box. There is one final component, of course, which is the equipment cards, and there may be some other bits in here as well. Oops. Try and get in. Go. So, oops. We have Captain America's shield. You may use this on your turn in an adjacent location or use on a villain turn to ignore the damage dealt to you. And you can recharge it at the beginning of your turn. Discard 1 action token to turn this back face up. We have deflector shields, which you've seen before. Using a turn, can't take any damage to the beginning of the next turn. And then remove this card from the game, so it's 1 shot. We have Omni-Beam. Use at the end of your turn if you didn't attack. Deal unpreventable triple attack against a villain, and then you are knocked out. Turn this card face down, and then remove it from the game. We have Stealth Field Generator. Use on your turn to move or ignore the first damage that will be dealt to you on the next villain turn. Then turn this face down. At the beginning of your turn, discard an action token to turn this back face up. We have Excelsior Permanent. Once during each of your turns, you may treat a heroic feat as an attack. At the end of your turn, you may discard 1 action token to give Excelsior to another hero. If this card is turned face down, remove it from the game. And Niga Wedding Ring. Use on your turn if Wiccan is in play, move to his location, or use on a villain's turn to ignore the first damage that we dealt to you. And to recharge at the beginning of your turn, you or Wiccan discard 1 action token to turn this face up. We have web shooters. On your turn, you may move or move 1 civilian or thug from an adjacent location to your location. And to recharge it, 1 action token to be discarded. We have Waldos. Use on your turn heroic feat or attack, then turn face down, recharging, and discard an action token to turn it back up the right way. We have Trick Arrow Explosive. So on your turn, attack against up to 2 different targets in an adjacent location. To recharge, discard 2 action tokens to turn this back up. We have Trick Arrow Pin Particles. Use on your turn to attach a stun token to a henchman in an adjacent location. Next villain turn, their BAM is cancelled and token is discarded. To recharge, discard 2 actions to turn it the right way up. We have Smoke Bomb. Place this card in an adjacent location. Next villain turn, heroes in that location can't take any damage. And 2 action tokens to recharge. Using your turn, the wire to move and heroic feat, and 2 actions to reactivate. We have Disruptor Stings. Use on your turn to do a double attack, split as you like between your and adjacent locations, and then it's a 1-shot and removed from the game. And then we have various cell cards. When a knocked out enemy with any crisis tokens enter this cell, flip this card and activate its trap effect. If the knocked out enemy has no crisis tokens, simply discard this card. And we've got a number of those, and they all have slightly different effects in terms of what they do. So we have a tranquilizer trap, we have an EMP trap, we have truth serum, we have shield breaker, we have a psionic trap, and finally a shock trap. So various different traps and abilities, but that is everything that comes. I'm sure you'll agree that's a good amount of content, and of course you do get some rings up to 3 of each side, so 3 blue, 3 red, so you can play your PvP and know which side, of course, all of the various heroes are fighting upon. But otherwise, that is it, folks. That is everything that you get in the Civil War box. A good amount of content, a good amount of gameplay by all accounts. I do like that, and I appreciate, as I say, going through that extra bit of history, having that better understanding of these different characters, where they originate from. We see them on the big screen. I think some of them we have, some of them we've yet to see. Will we see them on a big screen? We can but hope. On the basis that, of course, Disney Marvel have been working very closely alongside CMON and controlling and granting specific permissions as to what they can and cannot include, one would certainly hope that we'll get to see quite a number of these coming to the fore, certainly on the big screen, if not the silver screen, if not, of course, in the comics out there on your shelves. Otherwise, that is it, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have liked this, then please hit that like button. If you want to encourage me to keep making content, please hit that subscribe. It really does make a difference. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you back at the table soon.